Chinese were settling here many, many years ago, coming over here on the tea clippers of the farmers. So in the East End of London, for many years now, the East End has always been known for a mixed community. People from all over the world have settled here, and Limehouse was Chinatown. From opium dens there, the gambling dens, the brothels, restaurants, say, the Chinese laundries, it's all run by the Chinese, Limehouse. Then we've got the Canary Wharf developments around there. So the building with the pyramid top, that's number 1, Canada Square. The tallest building in Great Britain until recently. Its height was superseded by the Shard. Lots of different companies in there, banks, petroleum companies, solicitors. I don't know if anybody listens to TalkSport radio channel. They've got offices in there as well. Over there we had the East India, West India and the Middle York. In the West India dock there was a ship's berth here from the Canary Islands, bringing fresh fruit and vegetables from the Spanish islands, hence the name Canary Wharf. So that plane just coming over the top of the buildings here, that's just taken off from the City of London Airport, just down over those buildings there. The old Royal Docks at North Woolwich has been redeveloped with the XL Business Centre, hotels, new housing and the City of London Airports. So the whole of London's docklands has been redeveloped. All closed down in the early 80s. It was all redundant and idle. The government formed a body called the London's Docklands Development Corporation. Now if anybody had a spare £100,000 in 1981, that's a lot of money today, isn't it, London? You could have purchased an acre of land as a property investment. That acre of land today would be worth £20 million. Land has been snatched up in Docklands, it's all been built. All apartments not here. This area of London ahead of us, folks, is the Island of Docks. Many years ago it was called Stepney Marshes. It was just flat, open, boggy, marshy land. They dug a canal through the top of the island, through the land years ago, just back on the left. A canal was dug here in the 1600s. Ships coming up to London would come through the canal, probably drawn through by horsepower, and then they'd re-enter the river on the high tide and go to the normal sub-river here. There was nothing that further down the river, just sort of farm and open land, fields and whatever. And then as the shipping merchants got wealthier and wealthier, and their ships got bigger, they built the docks for security. So they built the docks in there in the earlier 19th century. To make it easier to build the docks or to dig them, because it was very boggy, marshy land here, they built the river wall up. They put windmills on this river wall. They dug channels into the island on the marshy land here. The windmills pumped the marshy land dry. The area on their left here, you might have heard of this area, it's called Millwall. Has anyone heard of Millwall? Yeah, you've all heard of Millwall. This is where the Millwall Football Club was founded on the island docks in 1895. They had flooded a few times and they moved over to Southall. So that's why it's called Millwall, because of the windmills that were widely built. You might have heard over the years a lot of trouble between the London football clubs, Millwall, West Ham. West Ham, they come from the other side of the island. They were shipbuilders. West Ham were known as the Hammers, the Irons. And they were on strike in the 1920s. The shipbuilders and the East India Shipping Company. And they wanted all the other dockers to go out and strike with them, but they couldn't do it for legal reasons. And over the years there's always been a bit of rivalry between the two clubs, due to a strike back in the 1920s. But sadly all the docks were shut down here, and sort of so you can see there's cranes over there, like still more construction work going on. Running parallel with the river here is the Millwall dock. It was all heavily bombed during the Second World War. So let's say, when they dug the canal through the top of the marshy land years ago, it created an island. Known as the Island Docks. At the bottom of the island, the area is known as mud chute. That's where they disposed of all the mud. They dug the docks, they simply channel it down here, spread it across this open marshy, and they raised the land and now built it. That's why the area is called mud chute. And just on the right there, we've got the old Surrey docks here. It's all closed down as well in the 1970s. It's all been redeveloped as well with housing, a shopping centre, entertainment, cinemas, bowling alleys, bars and restaurants. And see these little barges in the river here, these lighters, they're called lighters. Years ago these barges, there'd be hundreds of them on the river, they'd go alongside ships and lighten the ship with their cargo, hence their name, the lighter. Now these barges are built over them, so they're painted up a bit fancy, but a couple of times a year we'll have a couple of races on the river, like about 10 or 12 will row from Greenwich. One of those barges will row from Greenwich ahead of us up to Westminster. It takes about 2.5 hours, non-stop. Just keep going. Bit of a backbreaker. But years ago, a lighterman would row like that on his own, maybe with an apprentice, loaded with cargo. They wouldn't really row it, they'd just let the barge drift with the tide. They call it driving. Just to skillfully navigate the barge up the river at the tide, and then just skillfully fetch up alongside of the water somewhere, wherever they were bound. But all that trade finished years ago. Just got some rowers over on the right here, the centre down on the right here called the Hoy Rowing Centre. The Hoy, ladies and gentlemen. These boats, they're known as hoys. In the older days when the water would go alongside the stair, picking people up, the bow of the boat was a long protruding bow. They called it a hoy. So the whole water line of the boat wouldn't get damaged. They went alongside the steps. So people would shout out, "Ahoy there," asking for a walk to a ferry across the river. That's where they get that saying from, "Ahoy there." They're going against the tide now, folks. Years ago, royalty would travel on the River Thames. They'd be rowed by the watermen between the palaces along the River Thames. From Windsor down to Hampton Court, Richmond, central London, down to Greenwich here, where there were royal palaces. And if you go to the Maritime Museum at Greenwich, there are many of the old barges on display there. It's lovely. So these old buildings on the right, folks, these were rum warehouses years ago. That estate on your right is called the Thames Estate, Henley's Estate, or Thames Estate of Deptford. There was a naval victualling yard here years ago. They manufactured all the goods for the Navy years ago. Rum was a very essential cargo for the Navy years ago. They wouldn't go to sea without the rum. And they would also have barrels of water. But some of that barrel of water would have rum mixed into it. They called it grog. They couldn't take a barrel of pure water to sea. It had become contaminated in the barrel, so they would keep the rum in it to purify it, and then drink it. Every sailor, every day, was entitled to a pint of grog, which consisted of a big dollop of brandy, rum, and each day, well, every sailor was entitled to about 8 pints a barrel. There's the Naval College is in front of the boat, folks. And behind those buildings is the Maritime Museum. You've got to go in there, folks. That's a very interesting place. There's been exhibits in there. The uniform of Admiral Horatio Lord Nelson on display there. He was killed in action at the Battle of Trafalgar in 1805. They brought his body back to England. The coffin laid in state in the Great Painting Room at Greenwich before going up river to St Paul's. They preserved his body in a barrel of French brandy. The tragic news of Nelson's death was brought back to England by a fast vessel called the HMS Pickle. By the time Nelson